here to help us get a deeper understanding of what Vuforia is, how it works, and how we're advancing the platform. Let me introduce Jay Wright, the General Manager of the Vuforia Group. Jay?
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Well, first, as a new addition to PTC myself, I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are new to PTC. Whether you're an existing Vuforia developer or just interested in IoT and AR, you're in the right place. It's actually very exciting for me to be here today. The Vuforia team has been working extremely hard to enable AR. And we think AR is the next big thing. And at some point, we'll all wear a pair of glasses that provide a head-up display for our lives. And that is coming. But today there's a huge enterprise opportunity in front of us, and that opportunity has a clear intersection with IoT. And with Jim's exciting vision for PTC, there's no better place for us to be and no better place for you to be if you're excited about IoT and AR. So let's get to Vuforia. Now, while the future of AR may be on our heads, it's largely starting with devices in our hands. And with Vuforia, we actually started with phones and tablets and have continued to expand to different types of devices. So today, Vuforia works across the vast majority of phones and tablets. And now with VR viewers ranging from Gear VR to those based on Google Cardboard, as well as AR digital eyewear like the ODG R7 and the Epson BT200. Now, the great thing about this is that you can get started with handheld devices today with the comfort your solutions will work on the head-worn devices that we all look forward to. Vuforia is the most widely used AR platform in the world. Tens of thousands of applications have been created by hundreds of thousands of developers, resulting in hundreds of millions of app installs. Now, given it's still early for AR, those numbers might surprise you. And I think the technology will surprise you too. You can do some pretty incredible things that I bet you didn't realize were possible. And our developer growth has even accelerated in the last year. And our data actually suggests that acceleration is driven by enterprise. Vuforia adoption has been truly global. You can find Vuforia developers almost anywhere on the planet who can help you understand what is possible and jumpstart your projects. We can even help you find them through our preferred developer program. Our biggest concentration of developers is actually in Europe, so no problem finding help there. However, we're seeing explosive growth in other parts of the world too. For example, in China, our developer base more than doubled last year. Vuforia has been used to create a wide range of applications, but has been used most extensively to date by consumer brands to market and sell their products. You saw a number of these examples in the video earlier. They bring digital interactivity to physical products like toys, but they also bring us a new way to shop by allowing us to see virtual products before we buy the real thing. But as we look to take Vuforia into the enterprise, we're talking about using it for much more. For example, AR can be used to enhance the design process when we create things. If I'm a CAD user today, I need to perform mouse and keyboard gymnastics to get various views of my model on the screen. Well, wouldn't it be great if I could see that model at actual size right in my studio and just walk around it with my mobile device in my hand or on my head to see it from any angle? And wouldn't it be even cooler if I could see my model from the inside out, as if I somehow had been teleported inside of it for a virtual fly-through? Well, you'll be able to do both of those things using Vuforia and AR and VR. And for those of you at the event today, you'll get a live demo later. Now, in addition to the design process, AR will help workers operate products. And to illustrate this one, I'd like to get a quick show of hands here in the studio. Who loves to read user manuals? Okay, got a couple jokers who actually like to read user manuals. But who needs them? In the future, no one. With AR, we'll be able to superimpose step-by-step instructions directly on the objects you're focused on. Cumbersome manuals will become a thing of the past. And this is also going to decrease the need for training. AR instructions will feel like a virtual assistant who's always with you to provide training on demand. And finally, as you've seen today, AR will completely change service. Contextual, step-by-step instructions will make a technician's job easier, more effective, and probably more fun. Some service tasks will be made so simple with AR that they can be performed by your customers and not require a technician at all, as you saw in the Sysmex demonstration just a minute ago. And when combined with our IoT technology with predictive analytics, huge efficiencies can be realized by sending fewer technicians on fewer and shorter service calls. So Vuforia has already driven innovation in how products are marketed and sold. And I hope I've given you a sense of how it will change the way they'll be created, operated, and serviced in the future. We see these changes as dramatic. AR has the potential to fundamentally change the way we work. Now, workers will benefit from AR in a range of settings: factories, hospitals, labs, oil rigs. And we'll need to enable AR experiences in all these places and on all types of equipment and machinery. So this brings us some new and different challenges with the Vuforia platform. Let's talk about the platform and what we're doing to meet these challenges. And for those of you who are not familiar with Vuforia, I'm going to start with a short primer. First, Vuforia is for developers. At its heart is the Vuforia engine that developers put inside their applications using a software development kit, or SDK. And you can think of the Vuforia engine as a digital eye inside your application. That eye can identify things in the camera's field of view: images, objects, even words. It tells your application what things it sees and exactly where it sees them. It's then up to the developer to create the AR experience on top of the objects it sees. So let me walk you through a very simple example. This is actually a sample application that we ship with the Vuforia SDK. It simply presents a virtual teapot on top of this image of rocks. From a high level, it was developed in 3 steps. First, you choose your target. The target is simply the thing that will trigger your AR experience. We provide a very simple way for you to define these with a tool we call the Target Manager. Simply put, it lets you define what your app can see. You can add your own images and objects, and in this case, we just added the image of the stones. Next, you author the AR content. We create the content that will appear on top of the target. In this example, the content was really simple, that teapot. And we actually created that teapot in Maya, but you can create content using PTC tools or even other third-party tools. Finally, you stitch these things together to build the app. And you have a few development choices here. This one was developed with Unity, which is most commonly used by Vuforia developers. For those of you not familiar with Unity, it comes from the mobile world, where it's the leading game engine and game development tool, and is increasingly being used for a wide variety of interactive 3D experiences. Another great benefit of Unity is that it's cross-platform. So for Vuforia, that means you can write a single application that works on both iOS and Android devices. Of course, you can also use Xcode or Android Studio if you'd like to integrate AR into an existing iOS or Android application. So Android and iOS will reach the vast majority of phones, tablets, and eyewear. But there's an important platform missing, one that you're very familiar with in the enterprise world. And today, we're announcing support for Windows 10. We think this is a pretty big deal. It's a big deal because Windows 10 comes along with some amazing new devices from Microsoft: the Surface Pro 4 and the Surface Book. If you haven't played with one of these yet, you really need to take a look. They're great for Windows, and they are great for AR. And will, of course, be supporting a range of other Windows 10 devices. And I have to tell you, coming from the mobile world, it is great to be at PTC, where we have the flexibility to support all the platforms required for consumer and enterprise use. Now, for developers, this means that now your Unity applications will run on iOS, Android, and Windows 10 seamlessly. And for those of you who are Windows developers, you can use Microsoft Visual Studio to integrate AR into your existing Windows applications. But we're all gathered here today to take a fresh look at things. Our goal with Vuforia is to deliver AR experiences anywhere, in all environments, and on all things. There's huge variation in things in the enterprise: size, shape, texture, color. And while it's easy for us as humans to see these things, it's much harder for our digital eye. But we want to know more than just what kind of things we see. We want to know exactly which one, all the way down to the serial number. And as you know, serial numbers can be pretty tough to read, and of course even tougher for the digital eye. There have been some solutions to this problem. I'm sure you're familiar with barcodes, QR codes, and the like. And while they're great at what they do, they have some limitations. Number one, I cannot use them to deliver an AR experience. That's a problem. Number two, I don't know about you, but I don't think they're the most beautiful things in the world, and I'd prefer not to put them where people can see them. We have a better solution. It's called the ViewMark. The ViewMark can enable a reliable AR experience on anything on the planet. It can uniquely identify the thing, literally down to the serial number, and it gives you the design freedom to make it your own. Let's take a closer look. First, the image in the middle. This can be anything, your logo, or any other design element that complements your brand. Next, the code. The code is comprised of a series of elements. In this case, they're triangles arranged around the graphic, but you can use different shapes if you like, whatever works for your design. More elements can be used to encode more data. You can encode whatever you like, including existing serial numbers or even a URL. And finally, there's a border around the edge. The border here, in this case, has the same shape of the image, but it can be customized, and again, whatever works with your design. Let's take a look at some other examples. Now, you might recognize that one in orange. You saw it earlier on the KTM motorcycle. And the others show you the design flexibility that ViewMarks provide. And this is really just scratching the surface. We'll be providing a workflow for Adobe Illustrator so your designers can go crazy with these things. And as we look at these, I want to point out another important function of the ViewMark. It serves as a signal to end users that indicates where AR experiences can be found and how to launch them. This signal is critical to user adoption, making sure that experiences are easy to find and use. Now, let's take a look at another ViewMark example.
Upgrade yourself with Nexo powers and unlock awesome new abilities to defeat them. Scan the powers that are all around you, on toys you play with, magazines you read, TV shows you watch, and lots of other different places, so keep an open eye. There are many different Nexo powers. The more you collect, the more powerful you become. Nexo Night!
Now, if you have kids, you might have seen that one already. Those were ViewMarks on the Knight shields. Now, ViewMarks will also be appearing in TV shows, catalogs, and in LEGO stores and parks. And as I'm sure you can imagine, Lego is using these at quite a large scale, and you can use them in the enterprise at large scale too, literally on every product you ship. As I hope you can tell, we're very excited about Windows 10 and the ViewMark. We think these features will expand the Vuforia platform to address enterprise needs and ultimately change the way we work. Both of these features will be available this spring and even sooner as part of our early access program. If you're interested in early access or want to get started with Vuforia today, please visit developer.vuforia.com. Thanks so much for your time. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mike in the studio, who's going to tell you how we'll take this even further. Thanks so much. Over to you, Mike.
As you've seen so far today, augmented reality provides an opportunity for you to experience things in a completely new way, to seamlessly overlay digital data onto the physical world with a rich, visual, interactive experience that fundamentally changes the way that you operate, service, manufacture, and design products. However, as with all opportunities, there are challenges. Imagine the world in the not-too-distant future with a projected 50 billion connected things. And then imagine the millions of apps that will be necessary so that we can interact with those things. Now, we're already beginning to see an explosion of purpose-built apps for connected products. For example, I use an August app to unlock the front door of my house, a Wemo app to turn on the lights, and a Nest app to control the temperature. I use Lono to automatically water my lawn, and a Viper app to remotely start my car. And we're only just beginning the journey. Think of a refinery with tens of thousands of connected pumps and valves, and then all of the possible service, maintenance, and control apps that could be developed. Or imagine a factory with hundreds of different types of machines, each of them with specific data, valuable to different types of people, managers, operators, service techs, and others. In a world with so many smart connected things, how will people know what things they can interact with? How will they know how to identify a specific thing? And how will they know what apps to use with those things, like this motorcycle, for example? And then how are they going to keep all of this up to date? Seems overwhelming, doesn't it? The answer is obviously not an app for everything. Now, to solve this problem, we at PTC are expanding our IoT platform with new capabilities coming this summer through a project we call ThingX. ThingX, short for Thing Experience, because these capabilities will fundamentally change the way that we all experience and interact with the things in our world. Now, to begin with, the capabilities delivered with Project ThingX will revolutionize the way apps are delivered. Instead of millions of different apps to download, install, keep up to date, and remember when to use, we will deliver a single app, Thing Browser. Thing Browser can universally recognize smart connected things and deliver the right experience based on where the user is, who they are, and what thing they're browsing. Similar to the way a web browser unlocks the potential of the World Wide Web, Thing Browser will present endless possible ways to interact with the explosion of smart connected products and systems that are going to be all around us. Imagine simply looking at your surroundings through Thing Browser and discovering all of the things that you can experience, and then, with a single touch, being able to benefit from all that those things can share about themselves. I'll show you Thing Browser in just a minute, but first I want to introduce another innovation delivered with Project ThingX. Thing Server. Thing Server is to Thing Browser what a web server is to a web browser. It serves up content. It's the heart of the suite. Thing Server manages all of the various experiences that might exist for a physical thing, and through them delivers from across your organization all of the relevant information, the relevant analysis about that thing, from its digital definition to its operation and service history. This content that connects the device's digital definition to its physical instantiation is known as its digital twin. Now, the digital twin can be presented on many different devices in many different ways. It could be text in tables. It could be presented with gauges and dials and a 2D dashboard, or in the context of CAD-generated 3D graphics. However, this content is most impactful, it's most compelling when it's presented in the context of the physical things themselves, through the power of augmented reality. Now, you probably didn't realize it, but you've already seen Thing Browser and Thing Server in action today. The apps that we demonstrated earlier from KTM and Sysmex were actually not apps at all, but experiences dynamically loaded through Thing Browser for the motorcycle and the blood analyzer. Here on the iPad screen right now, I'm opening the single Thing Browser app. And the browser is waiting for me to scan a view mark, so I'll scan the view mark on the KTM bike. And as I do that, you'll see that I'm presented with a few different experiences. There's a marketing experience to teach me more about the bike, and there's also the service experience, since I'm authenticated as a service technician, that is exactly the experience that Simon showed earlier. While it may seem simple, this very powerful approach changes what's possible in bridging the digital and physical worlds. Now, whether you're a service technician, an operator, a consumer, or anyone else, scanning anything brings up the data about that thing that's relevant to your role. Now, I could do the same thing with the view mark on the blood analyzer, but let me show you something else. Another example of the power of Thing Browser and Thing Server. This is one that you might encounter in your office. So here I'm going to use Thing Browser to scan the view mark on the battery backup for this computer system here. And again, because I'm logged in as a technician, I'm presented with a variety of experiences. Now, to help me explain this example, I'd like to introduce Hervé Couret. Hervé is the CIO at Schneider Electric, and Schneider is a 25 billion euro global industrial company focusing on energy management and automation, and of course a very long PTC customer.
Hi, Mike.
Hervé, thanks for joining us here today at Thing Event. Can you tell us a little bit about what Thing X could mean to Schneider Electric?
Absolutely. Well, we see Things X and Things Browser transforming the way our service technicians will ultimately interact with our products, like this micro data center. So a micro data center like this one is used when a fair bit of computing power is required on the edge. For instance, in a bank branch, a retail store, or an oil refinery, for instance. At Schneider Electric, we already use a breadth of PTC solution for the design and development and servicing of our products. Most recently, of course, we started connecting our products, such as this micro data center, to our backend system, leveraging PTC's ThingsWorks. In fact, you can see now on the dashboard here, we're tracking the performance of these products, which are reporting a number of characteristics, such as location, temperature, battery status, and its useful remaining life, among other things. In this example, our field service technician can also see information in the dashboard from our other enterprise systems. So data about the product's configuration from our windshield PLM system, data from ServiceMax, about the customer service entitlement and warranty status, and data from Salesforce.com when it relates to upsell and cross-sell opportunities. So while the dashboard view is valuable, at Schneider we know that our field service technician can be even more productive by seeing all this information in the context of the actual product they are servicing. So I think, Mike, you're going to be my field service technician today.
I will be your technician.
Right? So with the ThingsWorks platform, you can immediately see information about this particular UPS right here in Boston. For instance, you can see the battery level and the machine temperature driven by data that is streamed off by the machine. You will also notice the status indicator, the little I, which is orange, indicating that there is some maintenance required. In fact, when Mike selects on the information button, we're notified that the battery needs to be replaced. So he will choose to perform that task now, and the instructions are clearly presented without any ambiguity. He can see that first he needs to remove the faceplate, then a couple of screws, then the support brackets, and then the battery itself. All of this will enable the technician to execute the procedure quickly and without any mistakes.
Hervé, that's a great example of using Thing Browser and augmented reality to extend the power of the ThingWorx IoT platform.
Sure.
Now, what kind of an impact will this technology have on your business, and where do you see it going in the future?
Sure. Well, the ThingWorx platform and the PTC solution that power ThingsX will allow Schneider ultimately to connect the dots, or as we like to say, to create a closed loop between front-end and back-end systems so that we can drive business values for our customers. For example, we can close the loop to offer digitally enabled services to our customers, or to identify upsell or cross-sell opportunities to deliver more value. We can also close the loop with engineering and incorporate feedback from the field directly into our engineering process on the CAD and PLM systems so that we develop more innovative and better quality products. And finally, what we just saw, we can have a closed loop with our field service technician so that they are better informed about the status of our products, issues, diagnosis before they arrive on site so that they are more efficient and effective in servicing our customers. So that's just one of the many ways of how we are digitizing our business ecosystem. AR is a great technology for us to bring the world of IT and OT closer together. As we like to say, our connected technologies ensure life is on for everyone, everywhere, and at every moment.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being here.
you,
We
Mike.
really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great example. It really is another outstanding example of how ThingX will change the way that you experience things in the future. But today, creating a rich experience like you just saw is complicated. It's costly and it's time-consuming. It requires highly skilled developers to use very sophisticated tools and complex SDKs. And it simply takes too long. Now, we at PTC believe that enterprises need easy-to-use tools that will allow them to quickly try out new approaches, hopefully succeed, but in many cases fail, and then iterate fast. They must be able to quickly figure out how their users can best experience these things. They must be able to present the right information from the right sources in the right way so that they can maximize the impact of the experiences that they're creating. So to enable exactly this, Project ThingX will include one more capability, Thing Builder. Thing Builder will allow you to seamlessly access all of the important information from your Thing's digital twin, and then quickly and easily build intuitive experiences for those things, leveraging rich 3D graphics and augmented reality. In a codeless environment, without the need for complex SDKs, you'll be able to drag and drop 3D graphics from CAD, generate a mobile-friendly representation that strips out proprietary IP, and then decorate that 3D content with data. Data streaming from the things themselves or with data from other enterprise systems like PLM, SLM, and ALM. All of those systems can inform those things. And you'll be able to prepare this content to be consumed in a deeply engaging augmented reality experience. You can quickly capture your ideas and iterate on them without a steep learning curve and without a huge investment of time and energy. Let me give you a quick preview of Thing Builder and show you how easily we built the UPS experience that Hervé and I just presented. Now here in Thing Builder on the left side, we have a collection of resources and UI elements that are used to create the experience. In the middle, we have our canvas, which might take on the form factor of a tablet or a mobile phone. And on the right, we have attributes and properties for the UI elements and resources that we're using. Now, in each of the examples you saw today, the experience was built around a 3D physical thing. So in this environment, we'll start by bringing in the 3D model of the Schneider UPS. Next, we'll need to place a view mark on the 3D model, which will allow us to uniquely identify a particular UPS and then correctly position any additional 3D information. The first icon that I saw when I represented, the first icon represented the UPS status. So we'll drag and drop an image of that status indicator into the experience, and we'll easily position it in the desired location in 3D. We want to control the display of that image based on what's actually happening on the machine itself in real time. Because Thing Builder is part of the ThingWorx IoT platform, we can simply browse the properties of the UPS's digital twin, select the attributes that we care about, in this case the status, and then again with drag and drop, bind that attribute from the UPS to the display of the image. We'll repeat that process for all of the other images and values that we want displayed and bind them to data in the same way. We would also simply drag and drop the animation of the disassembly sequence and bind that to the step-by-step controls in the experience. And when we're done, we simply publish it to ThingServer and it's ready to be experienced. It's that easy. So whether you're an independent individual developer or a solution builder in a large ISV, Thing Builder will allow all of you to build compelling, highly differentiated solutions faster than you could ever imagine. Thing Browser, Thing Server, and Thing Builder will completely change the way we all interact with the things in the world around us. Now, PTC's best and brightest are working right now to make this breakthrough technology available so that every one of you can soon build experiences just like the ones that you saw here today. With that, Jim, back to you in the theater.